Get ready for Hosts at Home, Adam's Archives.
It's time for the game that takes you back in time. Let's go back. And now, here's the host of Let's Go Back, Scott Sternberg.
Okay, a lot of noise. Thank you. Welcome to the show. We have great questions from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Put your thinking caps on right now. The players have theirs on. We have Jeff, Harry, Cindy. Hi, guys.
Hi.
How you doing?
Fine.
Ready to play?
Yes.
All right, Jeff, let's start with you. Tell us about yourself.
All right, my name is Jeff Gilbert, and I'm originally from Michigan. I'm one of the few people who came from Michigan that stayed because everybody got frightened and left.
Why did they get frightened?
A lot of people in Michigan are used to living at a snail's pace, and they all said California's too fast and it's too wild, and California's having a hard time keeping up with me because I'm faster than anybody.
So you belong here?
Yeah, I belong here.
You
I'm a
absolutely
native,
belong
really.
here.
I've been here 5 years. I'm a native.
Picked up any good or bad habits while you're in California?
Nothing that I can talk about on the air, but it's fun.
Hobbies?
Hobbies, miniature golf is great out here. Pinball.
You're a pinball player.
I'm a pinball champion.
Yeah. What are you good with the flippers on the sides, and you get how many points are you going to get?
Right now, my highest score is 877 million on a machine called the Addams Family. That's the biggest machine out. On Terminator, which is another great machine that's out now, I've got 739 million on it. It's a good way to play pinball and yet save money because you keep getting free games. So.
Do we really care about any of this? I don't know. Jeff, good luck
Someday
to you today.
you will.
Thanks a lot. We'll see you in a minute, okay? All right, hi, Harry.
Hi, Scott. I'm Harry Murphy. I think Jeff's just trying to intimidate me with those large scores. I played saxon in my time.
Yuck.
I'm originally from Tennessee. I'm an actor here in Los Angeles. Been out here for about 5 years.
How about nostalgia now? 60s, 70s, 80s, 50s? What are you strong in?
Probably the 60s.
Because?
Well, it's the black and white to color transition. It's just too cool.
I know exactly what you're talking about. You're right. Good luck to you, Harry. Cindy, hi.
Hi, my name is Cindy Clark, or I should say actually Dr. Cindy Clark as of 6 weeks ago.
You are a doctor?
Of psychology.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, a little applause for Cindy. I think that's nice. So, Dr. Clark, tell us other things about you.
Well, I have a little girl who's 2.5, and she keeps me quite busy.
Yes.
And I make doll houses and run around after her an awful lot.
Are you a trivia nut?
Sometimes.
Sometimes?
When I can remember.
When you can remember. You better remember today, because that's why you're here. Good luck to all of you. Let's take a look at the categories now for round number 1. And we start at the very top. And we have Let's Celebrate, TV Bye-Byes, Music Notes, Short 4, and the Silver Scream. 10 points now for each correct answer. We take the 10 away if you are incorrect. We also have a time capsule hidden behind one of our decades. It's a fabulous nostalgia knick-knack prize, and only you, Charlie O'Donnell, knows what it is. Tell us.
We turn back the hands of time to Ding Dong School. Remember Miss Francis? She taught us so much, but one of the most popular activities was pipe cleaner art. So here it is again. Pipe cleaners of all colors will give you the chance to make stick figures, animals, shapes, numbers. This special time capsule prize from the 50s will be yours if you can answer correctly. Back to you, Scott.
It's those pipe cleaners from Miss Francis's Ding Dong School. I had them when I was a kid. I know that these guys will want them as well. Hopefully you'll win. You ready to go?
Yeah.
Drew some numbers before the show, and Jeff, you won. Therefore, we need a decade, a category. Let's go back.
All right, let's go back to the 60s for TV bye-byes.
When back problems forced Dick York to retire, there were no explanations when this actor took over the role of Darren Stevens. Harry.
Dick Sargent.
Yes, correct. On the board first. Go, Harry.
Cool. Let's go back to the 50s for Let's Celebrate.
650 million subjects around the world celebrated when Elizabeth II was crowned queen at this London landmark. Harry again.
Westminster Cathedral.
Judges? No. Jeff, Cindy. Jeff.
Westminster Abbey.
Yes. We needed Abbey there, Harry. Jeff, you're on the board. Go.
Let's go back to the 70s for TV bye-byes.
In 1975, this actor said his final bye-bye is Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake. Jeff.
McLean Stevenson.
Yes, in MASH. Go.
Let's go back to the 60s for music notes.
In 1961, this singer-songwriter had a runaway hit. Harry.
Del Shannon.
Yeah, Del Shannon. He was terrific. Go.
Okay, let's go to the 70s for music notes, please.
And it's the time capsule, Harry, right off the bat. I know. Settle down. Settle down, Harry. This is going to be okay, I can tell.
Here.
You're schwitzing. All right. Miss Francis Ding Dong School and her pipe cleaners they're there. They're ready to be taken. And we're going to give you 20 points now. All right, we can't take that away from you. It's a freebie. Cindy and Jeff, you got to sit this one out. Ready to go? Okay. 70s music notes. This was the title of Bruce Springsteen's debut album.
Live from Asbury Park, New Jersey.
No. Greetings from Asbury Park. Miss Francis goes back in the time capsule. Harry, take it easy. We're going to take a break. We're going to fix Harry during the commercial break. We'll see you with more of round number 1 right after this. All right, we're in the middle of round number 1. Jeff in the lead with 20. Harry has 10. Cindy yet to be on the board. Harry, last correct answer was yours. Pick again.
Okay, Scott, let's go back to the 50s, please, for Silver Scream.
The classic 50s science fiction thriller The Blob featured the first starring role for this actor. Cindy.
Steve McQueen.
Yes, Dr. Clark.
Yes.
You're on the board. Go.
Okay, let's go back to the 50s for short 4.
This magic word changed Billy Batson into Captain Marvel. Jeff.
Shazam!
Shazam! Now, do you know how that word was put together? Do you know why it's Shazam?
Oh, wait a minute. The 6 gods.
That's
and I can't name them, but I know who they...
Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, and Mercury. Shazam.
Except Hercules.
Thank you very much. Go, Jeff.
Let's go back to the 60s for short 4.
Because she wanted women's rights now, Betty Friedan formed this group. Harry.
The National Organization for Women.
Correct. Go again.
Let's go back to the 70s for short 4.
A popular police series of the 70s, SWAT, stands for this. Harry.
Special Weapons and Tactics.
Judges? Special Weapons and Tactics Team, SWAT, correct. Another 10 points for you. Tied for the lead now with Jeff. Go again, Harry.
Okay, well, let's go back to the 70s and celebrate.
Called Operation Sail, ships of 30 nations navigated through New York Harbor to celebrate this 1976 event. Jeff.
The Bicentennial.
Yes.
Let's go back to the 50s for TV bye-byes.
He left Buffalo Bob and Howdy to become Captain Kangaroo. Cindy.
Bob Keeshan.
Yes, it was Bob Keeshan.
Good.
Go again.
Let's go back to the 80s for TV bye-byes.
Her character, Chrissy Snow, moved to Fresno to care for her ailing mother when producers refused to meet her salary demands. Cindy?
Suzanne Summers.
Yes. You remember who she was replaced by?
Oh, cheerleader. She was a cheerleader.
Cheerleader.
She was.
Jenny Lee Harrison.
Yes.
Okay, Cindy, go again.
Let's go back to the 80s for short 4.
Opened in 1982, the experimental prototype community of tomorrow is better known by this name. Harry.
Epcot.
Yes, Epcot Center. Go.
Let's go back to the 70s for Silver Screen, please.
In this campy comedy of 1979, George Hamilton played a lovesick vampire. Jeff.
Love at First Bite.
Yes. You now
let's
have
go-
the lead, Jeff. Go.
Let's go back to the 50s for music notes.
In 1958, the Monotones wondered and wondered who did this. Jeff.
Wrote the Book of Love.
Correct. Go.
Let's go back to the 60s for Let's Celebrate.
In 1969, for the first time, this special celebration was set aside by environmentalists. Harry.
Earth Day.
Yeah, Earth Day.
Wow.
Good game going here. Go again, Harry.
Okay, let's go back to the 80s for music notes, please.
The sign at the recording session for this song stated, "Check your ego at the door." Harry.
We Are the World.
We are the world. Harry, now tied with Jeff for the lead. Go.
Back to them there 60s for Silver Scream, please.
This 1969 low-budget horror flick featured zombies and ghouls eating people alive. Yes, Doctor.
Night of the Living Dead.
Yes, indeed, it was. Go
Okay.
again, Cindy.
Let's go back to the 80s for the Silver Scream.
In this 1987 film, Kiefer Sutherland heads up a band of punky teenage vampires. Jeff.
The Lost Boys.
Yes. Last question now. Go ahead, Jeff.
Let's go back to the 80s. Let's celebrate.
What an interesting
I had
choice.
to say it.
All right, last question here, round number 1. This sports event opened with break dancers, square dancers, and 84 pianists playing Rhapsody in Blue. Harry.
The 1984 Olympics.
Yeah, you're right, Harry. That's correct. All right, that's the end of round number 1. Jeff and Harry tied for the lead with 70. Cindy has 40, and we're going to have more of Let's Go Back. Round number 2 coming up right after this.
And now, let's go back to more fun with Scott Sternberg.
Okay, we're back getting ready for round number 2, but before we do, our crack staff, Harry, found out that you were once a department store Santa Claus. True?
Yes, Scott, I was, yes, at an unnamed department store in Nashville, Tennessee.
How was that for you?
It was good. My favorite time was lunch, when all the secretaries would come downstairs and they all had to sit on Santa's lap, and they'd say, "Oh, Santa, I want a new car." And I'd say, "Were you a good little girl?" And they'd say, "Oh, no."
That's our contestant, Harry. Okay, round number 2. Categories, please. Taking a look at them, starting at the top. We have headlines, film directors, TV guys, traveling music, and at your service. 20 points now for each correct answer. We take the 20 away if you're wrong. We also have another time capsule prize hidden behind one of our decades. Only Charlie O'Donnell knows what it is.
It's time to put away the dishes, clear the table, and invite the neighbors to play Art Linkletter's House Party Game. The ever-popular TV show's board version includes cards, play pieces, game board, money spinners, and rules. If you're down in the dumps, don't be. Break out Art Linkletter's House Party Game for big fun. Oh, by the way, Art's son Jack is not included. Scott?
Well, we figured that was true. Thank you very much. That house party game available now in round number 2. Let's see now, Harry, you had the last correct answer. Therefore, we need a decade, a category, and we'll go back. Round number 2 underway.
Okay, let's go back to the 50s for TV guys.
Henry Mancini's theme helped make This Craig Stevens Detective a top 10 hit. Harry.
Peter Gunn.
Yes. Can you hum that? That's it. That's what we wanted.
That's why I'm no longer a department store Santa.
Okay, Harry, pick again.
Back to the 60s for a little traveling music.
On a tour of one-night stands, suitcase and guitar in hand, Simon and Garfunkel wished they were this. Jeff?
Homeward Bound.
Yes. Go, Jeff.
Let's go back to the 50s for some more traveling music.
In 1959, Frankie Ford sang "Ooh-ee, ooh-ee, baby, won't you let me take you on one of these?" Jeff again.
Sea Cruise.
It was a sea cruise. Go.
Let's go back to the 70s for traveling music.
In this hit, Jackson Browne sang "I'm running into the sun, but I'm running behind." Harry says...
Running on Empty.
Correct. Tied now with Jeff for the lead. Go again.
And back to the 80s to close out traveling music, please.
Wham asked to do this, "'Cause I'm not planning on going solo." Harry.
What is Wake Me Up Before You Go Go?
Is correct.
Oh.
What is wrong.
Yes.
That's another show, but Harry still gets the points. Good for you. By the way, can you name who Wham was?
George Michael and the other guy.
And Andrew Ridgeley.
Oh, yes.
Okay, Harry, you have the lead. Pick again.
Let's go back to the 80s for film directors, please.
He directed Prizzi's Honor, which won an Oscar for his daughter Angelica. Harry?
John Huston.
Yes. Go again.
Back to the 50s for film directors, please.
During the 50s, this English director was responsible for films such as Rear Window and Vertigo. Jeff?
Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, Mr. Hitchcock.
Let's go back to the 60s for TV guys.
Ratings skyrocketed when Lieutenant Philip Gerard saved the life of this show's Dr. Richard Kimball. Harry?
The Fugitive.
Yeah.
Back to the 60s for headlines.
In 1969, George Pompidou became president of France, succeeding this man. Jeff?
Charles de Gaulle.
Yes.
Let's go back to the 70s, TV guys.
This streetwise cop with a cockatoo was played by former child star Robert Blake. Jeff?
Beretta.
Yes, Jeff, you and Harry are going head and head here, 170 apiece. Go again.
Let's go back to the 60s, at your service.
The home of Bill Davis, Sissy, Buffy, and Jody was managed by this gentleman's gentleman. Jeff.
Mr. French.
Mr. French, played by?
Sebastian Cabot.
Correct. You now have the lead, Jeff.
Let's go back to the 50s, at your service.
John Forsythe, as bachelor father, raised his niece Kelly with the help of this houseboy. Peter, played by Sammy Tong. It's a hard question, but we throw them in from time to time just to stump them. Jeff, in the lead, 190, go.
Let's go back to the 80s, TV guys.
Spectacular movie stunts began each episode of this show, whose lead character, Colt Stevens, was played by Lee Majors. Jeff. Cindy.
The Fall Guy.
Yeah, the Fall Guy.
Good.
Good, Cindy. Go again.
Okay. Let's go back to the 80s for headlines.
On November 12, 1980, new moons of Saturn and Jupiter were discovered by this spacecraft. Jeff?
Voyager.
Yes, Voyager 1.
Okay, let's go back to the 70s, at your service.
Before she left her for good times, this was the name of Maud Finley's maid, Harry.
Florida.
Yeah, Florida, played by?
Esther Roll.
Correct. Tied now for the lead again. Harry, go.
Great. Let's go back to the 70s for film directors, please.
In an age of color, this director went back to black and white for the Last Picture Show. Harry, again.
Peter Bogdanovich.
Correct, you are.
And back to the 60s for film directors, please.
And it's the time, Council. It was the force of that, of seeing it that blew you back, correct?
It was visceral.
It was. All right, Harry, you got a chance now at the Linkletter House Party game. You need that for sure. You'll also have a chance for 40 points now. We double it. You don't have anything to lose. It's a freebie. Cindy, Jeff, sorry. You're going to sit this one out. You ready to go, Harry? Mm-hmm. You Santa Claus, you. 60s film directors. A Fistful of Dollars is actually a Western version of a film by this world-famous Japanese director.
Akira Kurosawa.
Absolutely correct, Harry. Congratulations. Linkletter House Party game is yours. 40 points more. You're in control, and you're in the lead. Pick again.
Okay, let's go back to the 50s for headlines, please.
On January 24th, 1950, the longest one of these in America opened, connecting two New York City boroughs. Harry.
Bridge.
No. Cindy.
Tunnel?
Yes.
Okay.
You're okay with that?
Yes, I'm
Okay. It was the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel. Was that just a mere guess?
Well, if it wasn't a bridge, it had to be a tunnel.
Tell that to Harry.
Knocked my name
Cindy, you
down.
lost your name, but we'll pick that up soon. Go ahead.
Let's go back to the 80s for At Your Service.
Advertising executive Angela Bauer hired a male housekeeper played by this actor. Harry.
Tony Danza.
Correct. What was his name? What's a character?
Peter?
Tony Maselli.
Oh.
Tony Maselli. Last question now, round number 2. 70s headlines. In the fall of 1970, within 2 weeks of each other, these two rock and roll legends died. Harry.
Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix.
Is correct. Good job, Harry. And that is the end of round number 2. Let's take a look at the scores. Harry has 270, Jeff 190, Cindy, Dr. Clark, has 80. We'll be back to find out who our winner is going to be in our final decades round, and we're going to do that in just a minute. Don't go away.
Once again, more fun in your favorite decades on Let's Go Back.
Okay, back now. Time to find a winner. And before we do that, any last thoughts, Jeff, Harry, or Cindy, before we play this last round? Anything you want to
Shazam.
So you're ready to go. Harry, you ready to go? And Dr. Clark, you ready to go?
Sure.
All right, well, might as well get going on this then. Okay, Harry, you did a good job. You're in first place, 270, which means you need 4 correct answers to win the game. Jeff, you're in second, 190 points. You'll need 5 correct answers to win the game. And Cindy, 6 correct answers will win it for you. $500 to that person who does it, and we need all of your answers in the form of decades. Okay? Ready to go? First question. In which decade was the first voyage of the QE2? Harry?
70s.
No. Jeff?
60s.
Yes, 1969. In which decade was Dustin Hoffman a real Tootsie? Cindy?
70s.
No. Harry?
80s.
Yes, 1982. In which decade did we see the first outbreak of Legionnaire's disease? Cindy?
80s.
No. Harry?
70s.
Yes, 1976. In which decade did CBS debut the Judy Garland Show? Jeff?
60s.
Yes, 1963. In which decade did Eastman and Fuji introduce disposable cameras? Cindy?
80s.
Yes, 1987. In which decade did the American Basketball Association merge with the NBA? Cindy?
70s.
Yes, 1976. In which decade was Charles Schultz's Peanuts first syndicated in newspapers? Jeff?
50s.
Yes, 1950. In which decade did U.S. Marines invade Grenada? Jeff?
80s.
Yes, 1983. Jeff, just one more. We'll win it for you. In which decade did Gary Busey star as Buddy Holly? Jeff?
70s.
1978. And Jeff, you have won the game. Good job, Jeff. $500 for you. Taking a deep breath.
This is better than pinball.
Is it? Well, we hope you you enjoy that money. We
gosh.
also thank Cindy, Dr. Clark. Thanks for playing. Hope you had a good time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Harry, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
You provided great humor and great fun. And for that, I'm personally bringing Art Linkletter's house party game over to you. You can applaud for Harry. That's for you, right there. Okay, congratulations. Congratulations, champ. And you too, Cindy. And on that, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm Scott Sternberg. We'll see you next time right here on Let's Go Back. See you. Bye-bye.